Welcome to today's reflection. Session 4, I felt there was a need to change things up. I thought that things were getting a little bit stale, and that the players needed something to renew the energy within the training sessions. So the warm up was slightly different with some game sense, light, low intensity game sense games implemented to just change the energy, bring some fun into the practice, before we then got into the dynamic stretching and muscle activation as normal. With all our sessions, we then did the sprint mechanics, revisiting the B skip to make sure that the players could perform the B skip flawlessly before moving on to the next aspect of the sprint mechanics. And then again, moving on to the basketball aspect of the session, and incorporating basketball drills, specifically focusing on decision making, and cognitive thinking. My own personal feeling going into the session, I had a lot more energy than in session 3. I was feeling a lot more revitalized. I had a good night's sleep the night before, and therefore was looking forward to the session going into the session. We again taught the B skip with the high knee skip and the active lower leg action, focusing on body position and again reiterating to the players the importance of sprint mechanics, and how we would use good sprint mechanics to carry out a style of basketball in which we were trying to play. A focus of today's session was to bring it back to the basics. We had been putting in a lot of things over the last 3 sessions, and so we didn't want to lose focus on the little things, and focusing on really paying attention to the smaller details that usually get skipped over. So that was a focus of today's session, and one of the positive results of that was that the players really bought into that. There was a real focus in on finishing our passes, passing through the player, making sure that our passes reached the end goal, and the players really bought into that. And one of the results of that was when we were playing, there was a lot less turnovers. Passes were a lot sharper, a lot crisper, which meant that the play was a lot smoother. So that was a real positive aspect. A negative aspect of the session was that communication seemed to drop off again, which makes me feel that unless it's continually bashed home, players will not naturally just communicate. So it's something that we're really going to have to focus on. Just like the sprint mechanics, it's going to have to become a staple of each session where we put in drills to encourage communication of any sort. So that was one of the negative aspects of the session. An overall evaluation of the session, I thought that the time management was good. We were able to move on from the B skip. The players seem to have grasped an understanding of the B skip and are ready to move on to the next aspect of the sprint mechanic training. And as a team, we're becoming more and more efficient with each session. So the players continue to progress. We continue to gain understanding of one another. The skill development is starting to show in the gameplay, which is encouraging to see. And there's a lot of positive signs of the team being a very good and very successful moving forward.